Welcome back. We just got to the Gerudo Mesa within the Gerudo Desert, and we found the Bridge of Eldin there. This scene shows us using Midna to warp it back where it belongs, and this will allow us to use this warp point at long last. So it doesn't really matter too much for now, but it will be very useful later on in the game. So once that is snapped into place, you want to speak with Midna and warp all the way back to the Gerudo Mesa. There's actually a Poe Soul that's up on top of the Mesa itself, but because it's day right now, I will be doing some other things, and I'll return there later to grab that Poe Soul, while we are waiting for it to become night. So right underneath where the Bridge of Eldin was resting on top of the mesa, there's a hidden cavern which is known as the Cave of Ordeals. It's an optional 50-floor dungeon that is filled with really tough enemies in order to get prizes. We actually will not have the necessary items to complete this dungeon until much later in the game, so just log that away in your memory for now, and we will head off the mesa and we will return here later. So you'll see there are two ditches, or ravines rather, and there's one of the golden bugs is on the wall here, and I think it's usually found in the southern one, but I've occasionally seen it on the north one as well. So anyway, head in there, transform into your Hylian form, and use the Gale Boomerang if it's being avoidant. This can actually be really annoying because it's in a confined space with a bunch of Moldorms constantly trying to get in the way and show you affection. But I was actually really lucky there and got the female Dayfly. So as with most of the overworld areas in Hyrule, there are two golden bugs to be found within the Gerudo Desert. You want to continue working your way south, avoiding the pits of death along the way. It's really annoying to fall in and have to start the area all over again. About the midpoint of the desert to the far south, near the wooden barrier thing up ahead, you'll find another golden bug. You want to chase after it and snag it to collect the male Dayfly. Woohoo! So that's both of the golden bugs that are found in this area. Next you want to head to the north. And you can, once again, I just recommend, just running around in your wolf form, because it's much easier to avoid the Moldorms that are trying to chase after you. Now you'll see the upper portion of the map is split, it's separated by a line that goes straight through it, and as soon as you approach you'll find that it's because it drops down into a lower area. You want to hop down and continue forward, and up ahead you'll find a bunch of Bulblins and Bulbos. During the day it's a little harder to see because it's all hazy-like, but during the night, they also don't see you very well, so it may be smarter to attack these guys at night, but they're a piece of cake, so don't worry about them anyways. You can still shoot the Bulblins with your arrows, even if you can't really see them very well. They're just like little dots on top of the towers, but just aim where you know they're going to be, and keep your bowstring all the way back, and even if you don't really see them, and you'll hit them. So once you've killed both of them, then the others will come, that are on the ground, will climb on top of the Bulbos and come after you. Now they aren't really that hard. You can smack them with your sword or use your claw shot, but it's probably the easiest to use the bow. So just remember, if they start shooting at you with arrows, you want to slash your sword while targeting them, switch back to your shield, and then you just target them to deflect their attacks. Now you can also jump out of the way off to the side, just time it really well, but it might be a little more tricky. Either way, they should be easily taken care of, leaving behind some lonely Bulbos. Poor things. Let's take advantage of this. Now, riding the Bulbos is very similar to riding Epona. The main difference is that instead of spurs to give you bursts of speed, the Bulbos allow you to dash forward madly and smash into things. We all love smashing into things, don't we? Unfortunately, the Bulbos are a little big and awkward, so it's only emphasized by the fact that you're zipping through the barrens, the wastelands of the desert, and trying to avoid obstacles. I find myself overcorrecting a lot, like I'm playing a racing game or something, which I usually don't have that problem with, but for some reason riding these Bulbos I just have a hard time with it, because I just start going really fast, and then it seems like you barely tap the analog stick at all, and you start really going all over the place. Anyway, you just want to, you can blow up all the barriers and stuff that are around here, and you just smash right through them. So once again, riding the Bulbo is kind of awkward. I suppose it's a good thing that we're in the desert for these things. Maybe they tried it out somewhere else and then decided it was better off having the Bulblins and such in the desert because of this, so that you could ride the Bulbos here, not in some foresty land, because it would just annoy the heck out of people. Anyway, so you can collect all the chests and stuff if you want. There's a lot of little hidden chests that are around here. There's some on the left side, some on the right side, and there's some in all that little area where you attack the Bulblins. There's some that are in those towers and such as well. You can slash out the campfire and such if you want as well. And all the chests contain, just rupees and arrows and stuff. Nothing really too fancy. When you're all done messing around, you want to head to the far north where you'll find a few more of those wooden gate things. You want to use the Bulbo to smash through it, and once you have successfully done so, that is everything we need to do with this fearsome beast. So at this point, you can just head on, and real quick, I'm going to grab some more Poe Souls that are here in the desert before moving on. So if you've been following along, you want to head over to the far west side, assuming you're playing the Wii version, of course. It'd be the east side if you're playing the GameCube version. And you'll come to a little platform, and above that is one of those peahat trees, I guess. And I don't know, it's just it's got little buds, and then you see the progression of it. It gets bigger and bigger, and eventually it turns into a peahat at the top. So I guess this is a peahat tree. Anyways, when you use your claw shot to latch onto it, it'll take you up to a platform where you will see there are 3 skulls ahead. You want to wait here until night, and a Poe will then appear. So, just use your senses and defeat it to collect Poe Soul number 31. Now you'll see that the skulls there, that in between that there is a circle of a black speckly spot that has that's all shiny, and so you can dig down into it. This will take you down to an underground little area where there are 2 more Poes that are hiding amongst the boulders. Now, at least one of them will come out as soon as it sees you, and it doesn't have very good manners as it attacks you. But you can try and lure them both out through the boulders, or you can blow up all the boulders to give you some more wiggle room. Then you can defeat the Poes afterwards. Either way, you want to collect Poe Souls number 32 and 33. Now, you can also blow up all the boulders and then light the 3 torches that are in this room. Using your lantern, this will make a chest appear containing an orange rupee, which is worth 100. You can snag it if you'd like. It may come in handy if you were planning on purchasing the magic armor before heading to the next dungeon. I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to get the magic armor after the next dungeon because we get a ton of rupees within the dungeon itself. So I'm just going to wait and purchase the magic armor afterwards. So if you are looking to get it right now, go ahead and snag those rupees. If not, I wouldn't worry about it. So with all that taken care of, you want to go ahead and return to the surface. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there's a Poe that is on top of the warp point area up on the Gerudo Mesa that I couldn't snag earlier because it was day out. So I just did a bunch of stuff that I could while it was day, and then now I'm doing all the stuff I can do while it's night. So I'm going to warp over to Gerudo Mesa. If you have not snagged that Poe already, you want to go ahead and defeat it. Just be really careful not to fall off the platform because, it's pretty large. It shouldn't really be that much of an issue. But I suppose if you fall down anyway, you can just warp right back. You want to use your senses and retrieve Poe Soul number 34. With that out of the way, you want to continue working your way all the way north, and since we destroyed the wooden barrier up there, you can now pass through without worrying about the Bulblins and Bulbos all over again, because we already defeated them. Now, if you have yet to blow up those, wooden barriers to the north, you want to go ahead and hop on one of these Bulbos up ahead, which I'm coming up to shortly. You just want to use them to dash through the wooden barriers to the far north. This will allow us access to the new area that we have yet to be in. So here I'm just passing right past them. I already dealt with all that. So now this is that new area I was talking about. You want to climb up here, and then you'll see that it splits off into 3 different directions. Off to the left is a chest with rupees or something like that, I believe. Off to the right is a Poe, which we will gather here in just a moment. But in the middle is a golden wolf. And so the howling stone for this particular golden wolf location was in Lake Hylia. So if you have not howled to that howling stone yet, you should go check that out right now. And you can use our howling stone guide on our website, which will describe the location and everything. So that will help you find that. So, once you've done that, you want to go ahead and chat with this golden wolf, and as with all these encounters, you'll appear once again in this misty world where the wolf will shortly transform into the hero's shade. He explains that up until now you've learned the basic hidden skills to be learned, but now you're going to be diving into some of the more dangerous ones out there. Of course, you just want to ignore his warnings and say, yes, Link can handle it, he has tons of hearts now. As always, he will explain that you have to perform the last hidden skill we learned, and in this case that is the Helm Splitter. Z target him, punch forward with the nunchuck to use a shield attack, press A to use the Helm Splitter, and then follow up with a sword slash from behind. He'll be impressed with you and agree to teach you the next of the hidden skills, the Mortal Draw. The hero's shade will explain that a lot of harder enemies are used to dealing with typical sword moves, including some of the hidden skills you've learned thus far. The enemies who can protect themselves against the backslice and the Helm Splitter are vulnerable to the Mortal Draw. It's a nice move and it's very effective and can get past a lot of enemies' defenses, however, it leaves you vulnerable. So choose wisely when to use it. It can be really powerful and it does a lot of damage actually, but it can be, just end up hurting yourself. Once you face off, you want to press A while not Z-targeting in order to sheathe your sword, and then press A as soon as it lights up on the bottom of the screen. Link will actually put his hand on his sword hilt, so that's the clue that you can use it then. This will cause him to perform the Mortal Draw and dish out loads of pain. Congratulations on learning the next hidden skill, the Mortal Draw. So that's all the time I have for this video. Join me for the next one, and we'll continue working our way towards the next dungeon of the game. I'll see you guys then.